What's good, world? So, in today's video, I want to discuss hip hop. It's 2023, and hip hop is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And ironically, this is the first year hip hop has not had a number one on the Billboard charts, 200 or 100 chart.
It's so crucial.
So, let's talk about it. So, first, before we get into that, we got to take it back. So hip hop started in August of 1973, New York City, the Bronx, of course, credited to Kool Herc's parties. And it even took years before it became put on vinyl because you had hip hop jams, hip hop freestyles, all in cassette tapes at first, mixtapes, if you will. They were just cassette tapes floating around. There was no hip hop on record at that time, and there was no real interest of being on a record. It took about 5 years, and then the first record showed up with Fatback Band, arguably the first one, but the one that everyone knows is Rapper's Delight. And Rapper's Delight did chart on the Billboard. Now remember, people thought this was a novelty thing, people thought it was a fad, people thought it would go away. So as you can see, it was a 1979 single, became a top 40 hit, reaching number 36 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 4 on the R&B hip hop charts, which didn't exist at that time. I don't even know why they put it on there. There was no hip hop part of it. It was definitely an R&B chart, but it wasn't R&B hip hop back then. And it reached number 32 on the R&B albums. So then years went by, and we didn't have our first hip hop album breaking the top 10 on Billboard until 1986 with Run DMC's Raising Hell album. And it became the first certified platinum rap album as well. Then about a year later, you had the Beastie Boys' License to Ill, the first rap album to hit number 1 on the Billboard Top 200, March 7, 1987. So Beastie Boys was the first to crack number 1 in albums. Now, mind you, even when it came to the singles of those days, hip hop purists didn't really consider Rapper's Delight or Run DMC's music mixed with rock, Beastie Boys. They didn't really consider this the pure form. It was considered too commercial. So let's just take in hand of the climate at the time when people wanted the more pure form and the real hip-hop heads wanted the more organic sound to make the charts. But the stuff that makes the charts are not usually the purest form of any art form, whether it's rock, jazz, country, etc. It's easy listening version of the genre, so to speak, that makes it easier. Now, there's always exceptions, and we have fluctuations in time of when the real came through. I'm saying that because we're talking about Billboard. Billboard charts is an achievement because it goes to show you what is the most played, what is the most selling in the country. And when it comes to that, it doesn't mean it's the best. Doesn't mean it's the most quality. Doesn't mean it's the truest. It just means it was marketed the best. It was catchy. It was such and such. It's just like anything else. Coca-Cola is a number 1 selling soda. Is it the best soda in the world? You be the judge. So it's interesting that now we don't have a number 1 in 2023, and now we're in June. Half the year is gone, and it's the 50-year anniversary of hip-hop. What's going on? Are we getting more pure? Are we getting less commercial? Or are people just bored with it? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hip hop has been number 1 in since for a while, since '87. You had a lot of real albums. What happened? Let's see what the Billboard article says. What happened? All right, so according to Billboard, it says 5 reasons why. Who wrote this? Kyle Dennis. I don't even know who Kyle Dennis is. We could look it up later. 5 reasons why 2023 has yet to yield a number 1 hip-hop album or single. A not-so-starry night. It's a lot more difficult for any genre to reach the top spot when the most popular and reliable artists are not releasing projects. This year, hip hop releases have come from artists with less consistent track records on the Billboard 200. Instead of the guaranteed album sellers like Kendrick and J. Cole, 2023 has seen records from artists like Lil Durk, Moneybagg Yo, and Young Boy Never Broke Again, or artists who have previously scored number one albums yet still lack the gravity of a crossover hip hop star. While the likes of Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Baby, 21 Savage, and Lil Durk could all rule the genre of the 2020s, lengthy gaps between solo albums, capricious commercial pull, and inconsistent when it comes to a genuine blockbuster records prevent them from being as surefire bets. His opinion, part of this is due to the ever increasing vastness of social media. Artists and fans now can have unpredicted relationships where their intimacy anchors the fans' steadfast dedication. But the fan bases that devoted rappers can still pull astonishing numbers without necessarily having major impact on larger mainstream. I don't know how that's possible. The numbers are supposed to bring it to the mainstream, but okay. Number two, views from the top. It is well known that hip hop has reigned as the biggest commercial genre in the United States since 2018. Current tallies for this year's show, and the genre remains the country's biggest music. Nevertheless, it is slowly losing dominance in terms of market share. It looks like hip hop is slipping a little. Given the increase of overall consumption units, however, this is really a case of hip hop having less room to grow in comparison to other genres because it's already been so dominant for such an extended period. With the exploding popularity of Afro beats, regional Mexican, yeah, I've been liking a lot of that, and K-pop all factored in, it is simply getting more difficult for hip hop to remain unchallenged at the center of the conversation. Audience have more options and access than ever before, and they naturally exploring genres they might have previously paid less attention to over the past years. I can agree with that a little bit. There's more interesting genres, and a lot of this hip hop is getting a little more predictable and less exciting, even with all these collabs. It's almost like, in my opinion, a lot of these hip hop acts in the last 4, 5, maybe 10 years, they relied on their collabs. I haven't seen too many rap artists make great work by themselves with a feature here or there. You know what I mean? Ain't too many J. Cole went platinum without any major features going on. You know what I mean? There's no problem with that, but if your career relies on that and it becomes like an obvious thing of y'all collaborating for the audience and numbers, it's kind of boring, predictable, and contrived. I made a post about that before about collaborations need to make sense. You know what I mean? Afro beats is a fresh industry that's been battling since the late '90s, I believe. I saw a documentary on Afro beats, and just knowing how they used to call it Afro hip hop at one time, how they took on the spirit of hip hop, the whole factor of pushing the genre forward with their collaborations. You know what I mean? And same thing with Mexican music, Latin music. There's a lot of excitement going on there, which for another generation is refreshing. I can see that. So number three for him, old ops and new ops. Part of the reason hip hop has struggled to truly cement a new class of superstars that some of the genre's most promising talents have fallen victim to gun violence, incarceration, drug abuse, and excessive police surveillance. Okay, I can see that factor. Tentacion, Juice World, Pop Smoke, Drakeo the Ruler, King Von, Nipsey Hussle, Young Dolph, now Takeoff. I mean, yeah, I can see that. Like, there is a lot of, even rappers that have a buzz, you don't even know they rap until they got killed or went to jail or something. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential stars being nipped in the bud. Court cases, Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Lil TJ suffered gunshot wounds. Yeah, Bronx, New York, and the city with most robust hip hop police units in the country. That's crazy. Launched in 2019, task force aggressively stalks and monitors hip hop shows. Yeah, the mayor definitely claimed the ban of drill rap in New York City. young drill artists, K Flock, Chef G, D-Chain's Busy Banks, all currently incarcerated. There are also law enforcement obsession with criminalizing hip hop lyrics. Atlanta rapper Young Thug battles a slew of RICO charges. No other American genre sits at its particular intersection of racialized persecution, gun violence, drug abuse, and surveillance. Good point. I agree with that point. Chart stagnation. To cut the hip hop bit of slack, the genre's absence at the charts this year is also due to part to how relatively stagnant the charts have been, with just 5 titles recently the top spot in Billboard 200. Only 5 new songs hitting the Summer of Hot 100. It's not like there was much room for hip hop to nudge its way in. Outside of 1 week runs at number one from The Weeknd and Ariana Grande, Die With You, Jimmy Like Crazy, and SZA Kill Bill, Lifty stays at number one, and Mighty Flowers, and Morgan Whalen, I don't know how to say his name. Last Night, 9 Weeks, I know that song though, have kept the top 100 away from basically everyone else. They snatched the spots. Although a rap song has yet to hit number one this year, the genre has not been completely absent from the top 100's top 10. New tracks from Tusi, Favorite Song, Drake, Search and Rescue, Lil Durk and J. Cole, All My Life. I think that might reach number one. That All My Life, I think that might reach number one. Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj, Princess Diana have all reached top 5, and it's worth noting, however, that outside of Favorite Song, each of these songs debuted in that region and slipped out of it shortly after. Number 5, a gradual return to the club scene. If any genre is well equipped to adapt to change, it is hip hop. The genre already seems to be just aligning itself with the next pivot. Since the beginning of 2020, Top 40 has revived a love affair with the new disco, synth pop, and all the other pulsating subgenres and veins, from Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgic, to Beyonce's Renaissance, to Drake's Honestly Nevermind. Yep, club and dancing house. Lil Easy Verts, I Just Wanna Rock, Cola Ray's Players, both Hot 100 top 10s, both pulled from Jersey Club. And thumping division of dance music heavily inspired by Baltimore club scene, innovative fusion of house and hip-hop. Traces of the style can be found in such 2023 hits as Ice Spice, In the Mood, and Pink Panther's The Boy's a Liar. And not entirely there yet, but if hip-hop can continue to innovate across dance-centric genres that are growing more and more popular around the world, they may be a key remaining present on top of the Billboard charts. Whether it's Baltimore Club or I'm a Piano, continued forays into dance can be a viable pathway for America's biggest genre. Okay, so what do y'all think? We went through the whole history of the Billboard. That was his 5 points. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to hit me up in my Discord, or you can let me know in the bottom in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.